Yes, 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 yes. Yes, guys, we did it right towards the end. It got a little bit squeaky bum time, as they call it. It got a little bit fishy, but we got the 1-0 result over the line. It was two halves, really, two different Inters today. First half Inter, fantastic. Like we know this Kivu team, this Kivu train. Once the game gets started, the pressing, the pressure that they put on, the chance creation, great first half. Second half, took the pedal to the foot off the gas pedal a little bit, and then obviously Udinese tried to come back, but definitely not as stressful as the Lecce game. Definitely a lot less stressful than the Lecce game. And overall, I am happy that we keep churning these wins against these so-called minnows. This Kivu team, guys, this Kivu team is. I know, like this match was stressful, the Lecce game was stressful, but in general, before these matches, I don't know about you guys, I'm feeling so confident against these teams. That big matches, we know, it's a completely different story at the moment under Kivu. But going into these games under Kivu against these lower teams, I'm feeling really confident that we're going to get the job done. It might not be the best performance, but we're going to get the job done. I don't think I ever had this confidence under Inzaghi. Maybe the Seconda Stella season, because we were just like chucking aside every single other team. So I guess that's a good sign, right? But yeah, good to see you guys. I'm back from my work trip, so that's why I made sure today to get a live match reaction with you guys. Let me just bring up the table nice and quickly, just to give us a nice visual to look at. Inter top of the table once again, 6 points off Milan, who beat Como yesterday, or the other day. It's what we needed. It's what we needed. They're playing Lecce. I know they made life difficult for us, so I'm not expecting much from them. Sassuolo against Napoli, yeah, they can be a surprise team. They can spring up some surprises. Cagliari, don't expect much from them. So it was vital that Inter focused on themselves and just got the win, got to 49 points. And yeah, we haven't lost since that Napoli game in the league, obviously, which is fantastic. Fantastic streak since then. But before we get into it, let me get into the comments and welcome you into the stream. And you know what to do. You know what to do before we get into it all. Leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Matija Jovic in the house. These 1-0 squeaky bum games will be the death of me. I know. Today's, I'll be real. To me, it wasn't that stressful. Today, I think Udinese themselves, they weren't looking that threatening. We defended very well at the end. There wasn't any big chances created by Udinese. There wasn't any moment by Jan Zoma needed. There wasn't no bozo moments from our defenders. So I think this one was more of a comfortable one. The Lecce one, oh my god, yeah, those are the stressful ones that give you high blood pressure, that give you shorter lifespan for sure. That gave us some gray hairs and some gray hairs in our beard. Those are the type of performances, definitely. But you, Mattia, you are, you're a fan of terrorist ball as well, like Allegri ball, Muso. So I thought you'd be enjoying these types of wins. I love these types of wins, to be honest, because these are the types of wins. Lecce today away at Udinese. These are the types of wins that make me convinced that okay, this team is champion material. The big games, that's a different story, but you win all these against all these teams, you win the scudetto. Just don't lose those big games like we did against Napoli. Mr. Fruity in the house. Pio is amazing. Yes, Pio and Lautaro today combining PI-LAU rice. That's what the title of the video is called. If you're not familiar what PI-LAU rice is, so obviously Pio and Lau, Pio-LAU, but I stole it off Saf on Twitter, who made the pun, PI-LAU rice. And if you don't know what it is, if you're not cultured enough to know what it is, it's a type of rice that you have in Indian or like South Asian food. It's like a spiced rice with this like yellow color. I think it has cardamom and onion and other spices. It's yes, it's a good rice to have. I think is this the rice that you have for biryanis? But anyway, pilau rice, and that is the name that we're going to give the combination of Pio and Lautaro, PI-LAU. So that's that. And oh yeah, by the way, today's video, let me quickly get this out of the way as well, because they were super nice to me. The guys from Vintage Pitch Apparel, make sure you check them out. This is a t-shirt that they gifted me. Actually, they gifted me the one in white as well. They don't only do Inter stuff. They're a brand, clothing brand that does calcio related apparel, vintage pitch. So there's a discount code in the description down below where you can get 15% off with that code. And the link is in the description down below. And this is the lovely Biscione design that they've made for Interisti. So make sure you check them out. I'll be wearing this t-shirt probably quite often. I quite like it. Good quality, good fit in my videos. And the white one as well. You might see me wearing that on my social media and post-match live stream. So yeah, that's that. Let me give a shout out to all the people in the house. Porta Inter 28766 says, I love watching Pio play and watching him develop. 100%. So nice to see finally a Primavera product play in this Inter team. YouTube, yeah, I didn't know that you're having to do these issues. Hope that's been resolved. Yes, I did have to fix the thumbnail. Thank you, Grain Kaiju, for that comment. We really suffered these last two games, Benoit says, however, still got over the line. Love to see it. All the pressure on Milan and Napoli for the rest of the weekend. Yes, that's the lovely thing now. We can just chill for a little while now for this weekend and watch the other teams. Positivity FC remains positive. Let's go, Eduardo. Eduardo, I think you're going to start converting more and more people to Positivity FC slowly as the season's going on. Thanks to Christian Chivu. What a job Christian Chivu is doing, man. What a job Christian Chivu is doing. The Christian Chivu train keeps on going. And thank you, Eduardo, for the donation, the support, the continued support. But yeah, how can you not be part of Positivity FC when things like this, things are looking like this in Serie A? Obviously, Champions League, we'll see. I struggle to be positive about Champions League with Dortmund and Arsenal left. Arsenal, of course, we're playing them on Tuesday. But of course, let's try to be positive on that as well. But thank you, Eduardo. And thank you, Grant Nelson, who has become a YouTube member. If you don't know, to support the channel, you can become a member. Usually once every few months, I do a Q&A for members only. I try to do the match previews, members only first, for the first day or hour, a few hours or so. Those are kind of the benefits. Some of those emoji things that you can use in the chat. Actually, I did need to update those. I've been meaning to update those for a while. And usually in the live stream, when there's a lot of comments, unfortunately, I try to kind of just focus mainly on like the member comments. It's difficult. It's difficult to otherwise go through all the comments. But yeah, thank you, Grant Nelson, for the channel membership. It's Piola, not PI-LAU. No, what do you mean it's Piola? You're gonna have to explain that to me, Sunit. You can't just leave that to imagination. You're gonna have to explain that why it's Piola, not PI-LAU. I love 1-0 wins, but after the game ends, during the game, I am stressed out. Yeah, no, 100%. Barella was poor, but he worked like an animal, which I appreciate so much. Yeah, we'll get into all the individual performances that, weren't great today, like those ones you mentioned. But they did a job. That's the thing, Zeki. I know that we have a lot of criticism, especially for our big players recently, that are not performing up to par. And I'm not going to say they performed today, apart from Lautaro and Di Marco, in my opinion, with the big players that performed today. But they keep starting, so there must be a reason why they keep starting, and we keep winning with them on the pitch, which also means there must be a reason why we keep winning with them on the pitch. Matteo, I agree. Good professional win we have, considering playing so much. I agree 100%. Glad to see Chivu focusing on the defensive end near the end, 100%. So he's learning from his maybe earlier mistakes earlier on in the season, and learning how to close out matches. I think he knows that at the end of the games, you definitely need to make some of those substitutions to make sure you hold on to the result. And also the players are not having bozo moments at the back, which is nothing Chivu can do about. And luckily Zoma hasn't been tested too much recently as well. Again, that's a big testament, not to just the defenders, but the whole team. When we're defending today, we didn't let. I think there was no big chance, not even like a half big chance really created by Udinese today. These are the wins that win you the league. Just saying, Ahmad, I agree, 100% agree. These are the wins that get you the win. Plau Rice is stretching it. Just got married, so seeing Inter win a solid win, best way to start. Oh wow! Drop the congratulations for our boy Gab in the chat, guys. He just got married, or drop the commiserations in the chat. No, I'm joking. Make sure you let him know this guy is a massive, massive Interista. He's always DMing me ideas about players who Inter should sign, scouting. Like he's just so passionate, posting on Twitter, Reddit all the time. He's like such an active Interista, supporting my channel, Inter Worldwide, Inter Extra, all the channels out there. He's always supporting. Every community needs a guy like Gab here, so make sure you leave him some love and congratulations in the chat down below. Congratulations from me, Gab, to you and your loved ones. Akanji disappointed me against Napoli, but today he was prime Maldini. Yeah, top performance by Akanji. Got moved around at the back a lot. I think at the end he finished the game at left centre back, but he was solid all round. He showed how to deal with someone super physical like Kenan Davis. Zielinski and Pio just too good right now. Lautaro did his job. Now let's focus on Arsenal. Yeah, agree. Yeah, Pio was great off the ball. I agree. He was fantastic. And Thuram, needs to watch out. Pata Podcast in the house as well. Zielu is truly top class player. He's absolutely wonderful. Yeah, he is. If I today, I can say it confidently now. If you follow me on the channel, you know I don't get names of players on the back of Inter shirts. It's just not a thing for me. I just find it weird wearing someone else's name on the back. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But if I was to get a name on the back of a shirt, it would be number 7, Piotr Zielinski. That would be the name I would get right now. In the past, the first few months of that Stefano Sensi season, it was going to be Sensi. It was at 23 Sensi. I think it was. What is his number? I think I should have got. I do regret not getting the Ericsson 23 and the third away kit of that Conte Scudetto winning season. I think that one would have been nice. I think a 77 Brozovic as well. That is a shirt. If I was to get one, that I would get from one of the Brozovic seasons. And yeah, from this season, I would get probably the third. I would get the third kit, the grey orange kit from this season with 7 Zielinski at the back. And yeah, I love him as a player. I'm so glad that finally he's starting to shine at Inter. Fantastic. And yeah, I mean, that yellow card on Carlos Augusto was absolutely ridiculous. One of the best tackles you'll see this season, and he gets a yellow card for it. And of course, a free kick in a very dangerous position for UDINESE. Awful refereeing. Inter Worldwide in the house. Make sure you check them out. Ian Kerr in the house. What's up, brother? Charles Shams. Get in there, son. Love it. I think we should move Enrique to the other side. He's obsessed with cutting on his left. Yeah, that is a conversation to be had, but we've got enough people on the left, Bobby Miley. We need guys on the right. So if he goes on the left, who's going on the right? By the way, we still haven't seen Matteo Darmian, who was supposed to be back fit. Is he on the bench today? Yeah, he's on the bench today. Still haven't seen Matteo Darmian even for a few minutes. Maybe he isn't fully fit again. Yeah, you guys know me. To me, this season, Scudetto. I don't care about Champions League. I know some people get annoyed about that. And I even know specific names of this community who are going to get annoyed with me. There's a guy called Lord Foxtrot. There's a guy called De Angeli. A few other guys, they always comment about, how Inter should be, competing for later on in the Champions League for money, because Premier League is dominating. Serie A needs to do. I don't care, man. We need to make sure that Milan don't win their Seconda Stella, their second star, for sure. We need to win the Scudetto because of that. We can't let them get to 20 as well now. And obviously, after the heartbreak of last season, we can't let this Napoli team do back-to-back on us, just for our personal reasons, for the joy and for the realisticness, be realistic of what Inter can do with this squad, with 2-3 competitions on the line. We saw it, this Inter team will get gassed out at the end of the season. They can't compete on so many fronts. Just being realistic, the Scudetto should be the main target. So hopefully Oak Tree does realize that, because I saw the other day there was a news release that Oak Tree were annoyed when Inter lost to Atletico Madrid a few weeks back, because that meant that Inter lost out on 3 million in prize money. miss me with that mentality. Yes, of course, you got to be annoyed when Inter lose in terms of that, but just because of the prize money involved, that just shows you what, who our owners are at the moment. Miss me with that. I want tangible results in terms of trophies. That's what we as fans care about. Winners enclosure again. I like that. Winners enclosure. Kerr Mafia in the house as always. Yes, please don't start Mickey against Arsenal. I was expecting the usual sleepy Inter. Ian says getting the early kickoffs. Yeah, this is what I like about this Kivu Inter. My earlier point about I expect them to not be that sleepy Inter anymore. That's what I've got used to now with Kivu. It seems to be, especially the first 15, 20 minutes, Inter go, press the other team, pressure the other team. I don't think I've ever seen this season yet. Obviously, I might be missing one or two games there and there, but in general, these midday kickoffs or these earlier kickoffs where in past years I've always been afraid of them because you see this Inter be like lethargic, really slow off the beginning. You don't see that on the Kivu, which is massive credit to Kivu. Clearly, he's kind of hitting the right buttons, hitting the right notes, like they say in Italian, with these players in the pre-match kickoff or the day before kickoff, like whatever he's saying to them, the motivation that he's getting for these players against these smaller teams is working. Is working. Remember, to win the league, you need to win against a small team at the top. This is the 1-0 that take us to the finish line. 100%. I agree. Can we get a missing poster for the right? Hey, you got a charity appearance today. We got a charity appearance, but yeah, Stefan De Vrij at the moment is clearly the last ranked centre back for Christian Kivu. I've loved seeing Pio grow and develop. It's cool when an Italian team actually backs its youth, and also when it's not backing it just for the sake of it. This guy deserves to be backed and deserves playing time. That's why he's that's the extra, cherry on top. Whereas he's actually good enough for Inter. Like he's showing he's better than Taremi, Correa, Arnautovic were for us last season. This guy deserves to be here, not just because he is from the Primavera, but he actually belongs here in terms of what he's adding. The impact he's having is so good to see. And yeah, lovely to see all the congratulations and of course the condolences for our boy Gab in the chat. Rest in peace, we lost a good one. Kivu better than the Italian super coach in Saudi. Hey, Julian, we'll get to that at the end of the season. But if Kivu is already matching, let me just show you the comparison in terms of the points tally. I'm just loading it up for representation. In his first full season as a coach, by the way, we're talking about barely a professional coach, Kivu, that had 13 senior games under his belt. And obviously at the moment it's not the because we've played 21, so the soccer stats hasn't updated it yet because we're on 49 points now. But Christian Kivu has already, he's there in terms of matching Inzaghi's points tallies. So he, as of this, obviously as before the Udinese game, we'll have to see how it looks after the update when it updates. But before today's game, we were just 1 point behind last season's Inter, which also shows obviously how bad our start was this season because we lost so many points at the beginning of the season. This was almost catching up to kind of get to this stage. Obviously, Seconda Stella season, that was a mad season. Can't say nothing there. That was the pinnacle. That was the peak Inter under Inzaghi. But then compare it to Inzaghi's second season when he was given Lukaku back, when he had Dzeko, when he was given Gosens, he was given a lot of pieces, and we conceded so many goals. The 12 losses season, he's +6 on that, and -3 on Inzaghi's first season. So yeah, he's keeping up. He's slightly behind, but keeping up with those seasons as an amateur. But obviously, it doesn't matter how Inter perform compared to previous Inters. It depends on how you're performing compared to the other teams in the league. Just to give a little representation there. That don't worry, Julian. We're gonna get to that conversation at the end of the season. If things work out, we're gonna have big conversations about that guy in Saudi Arabia. Big conversations. This win made me want to get knocked out of the Champions League. I've had enough heartbreak in Europe. Unfortunately, it's either top 8 or that stupid playoff. Yeah, this is the thing with Champions League now. It's like we're already qualified to the next stage, so that's already guaranteed. We can't, even if we lose both games, we can't drop out of Champions League now. But losing the next 2 games, or even just like drawing them, means you go back down into, after you drop out of the top 8, means you have those extra games, those playoff games to play. So it's annoying, the Champions League this year. But yeah, I'm 100% with you. I want to do a Conte this year, and just like, if it was possible, to just drop out of the Champions League and just focus 100% on the scudetto race. Yeah, and Zaki also said that, and thank you very much for the donation. He says, I'll take an early UCL elimination if it wins us. Hashtag number 21. Men target, aka only target, 100%. Okay, let's get into some match analysis and reaction. So in terms of the lineup and stuff like that. First of all, the lineup, I agreed with the lineup, apart from I would have rested Barella today. I would have put in Frattesi because it was going to be quite a physical midfield battle today. They actually made it extra physical by starting this Piotrowski guy, who was actually taken off before half time. I think he might have been ACL, so hopefully he's okay, not too serious, but it did look very serious. But yeah, he's a massive Polish midfielder in there. Karlstrom as well, Ekelenkamp, all tall, physical midfielders. So I wouldn't have minded having resting Barella ahead of the Arsenal game, because we've seen Chivu actually doesn't really rotate too much in Champions League. We saw last year Inzaghi beat Arsenal with the almost the B team it was, or C team even. With Chivu, I think we know he kind of doesn't like to do too much of a heavy rotation in Champions League. So the fact that we know probably Barella will start in the Champions League, I would have liked to see him rested. Or Zielinski, either one of those two, I would have liked to see rested ahead of the Arsenal game for Frattesi. And I would have started Mkhitaryan because, yeah, he didn't have the best game, but actually in terms of dueling and being physical, winning the ball back a few times, winning some fouls, his first half was actually very good. I think Mkhitaryan was the perfect example of Inter today in terms of first half really, really good, and second half drop off. Because Mickey in the first half, I thought he was actually very good. Second half, he was quite poor. But yeah, in terms of everything else, I quite agreed with the lineup. Akanji as well, I would have liked to see him rested. Again, we know he's probably going to, he's undroppable for Chivu. But he was probably scared of the Keenan Davis factor. We know he completely owned Acerbi in that first game when we lost Udinese. So I don't blame Chivu for it. I would have tried to maybe rest Akanji if possible, but it just seems to be impossible for Chivu at the moment to arrest Akanji, and you saw why. But apart from that, I agreed fully with the lineup. That was the lineup I would have gone for. Substitution-wise, I agreed with, bringing in Boni, although I would have maybe taken out Lautaro again just for a rest factor. But again, you're only 1-0 up. You don't want to take out all your main players. So I agree with that. I agree with bringing Acerbi on. I agree with bringing Frattesi on. And also De Vrij and Sucic at the end to just try to get the 1-0 win over the line. So yeah, overall, quite happy with how Chivu started the game and also managed the game. And then, from Udinese, we know Omar Soler. This guy always decides to have his best games against Inter. But no one really impressed me today from Udinese, to be honest. Let me get back to some of your comments whilst we resume the analysis afterwards. Europe equals money. Serie A trophies, that's how I see it, 100%. They get upset that we missed out on 3 million, but won't spend an extra 3 million when signing Lookman. I don't know if that extra 3 million would have signed Lookman. It just seemed like Atalanta didn't want to sell him to us. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean, Zeki. What was the formation Chivu switched to when De Vrij came on? 5-4-1. Yeah, I think it was a 5-4-1. Boni up front on his own. I didn't really get to see it too much because at the end it kind of gets, when Inter just sitting back, you just don't really get to see a real formation set. But it seemed to be kind of like a 3, 5-4-1, 3-6-1, whatever you want to call it. Everyone just sitting back and try to hold on for the win. Who had the better squad, Chivu this season or Simone year one? Ooh. Ooh. Black Blue Legacy. You're putting me on the spot here. I might have to pull him up. I might have to pull him up. I might have to pull him up. Conversations need to be had. Inter Milan squad 20, what was it? 22, 23, wasn't it? Was it? Well, no, 21, 22 was Inzaghi's first season. Let's put it up. Let's put it up. And let's see what we're saying. Okay, so oh, for God's sake, go away. I know about eating cashews, man. So starting goalkeeper Handanovic to Zoma, I think we're kind of on the same level there, really, both declining. Backup goalkeepers, I'll have to give it to this season. Definitely, we've got a better backup goalkeeper in Jose Martinez. We don't need to speak about the other backups. Okay, centre backs. Let's talk about centre backs. So Inzaghi had. I'm speaking centre back because he used to use Skriniar as a right centre back. So centre backs, he had De Vrij, a younger De Vrij, obviously 30-year-old De Vrij, and Ranocchia. So again, here I'm gonna have to give it to Chivu. I think the Chivu at the moment has Acerbi and De Vrij, yes, declining, but also has Akanji in there. We've seen Bisek put in there. Then Skriniar as right centre back, and then he had D'Ambrosio as a backup, right? There again, maybe you could give it the edge if you're playing Akanji as right centre back, you can give it the edge to this season's squad. But then again, the backup, I feel like D'Ambrosio, yes, he was experienced as well, but again, 33-year-old D'Ambrosio against Bisek, I feel like you're quite on the same level there. Left wing back. Wait, where's? Wait, is this the wrong season? Where's Perisic? Am I on the wrong season, guys? 21, 22. Where's Perisic? Oh, there he is. Sorry, I just didn't see him. Oh, he was put in as a midfielder. Okay, yeah. So left wing back, he used to use Di Marco as a left centre back, if you remember. But he had Gosens and Ivan Perisic. I think Gosens came in January, right? But still, that is a stacked left wing, and that is peak Ivan Perisic. Peak Ivan Perisic. Then we have midfield. Oh, sorry, right wing back. Then you obviously have Denzel Dumfries, but that is Dumfries' first season. So, Dumfries that just come in from the Dutch league, needs to get accustomed to things. And Darmian, 32-year-old Darmian. Yeah, there again. With this season, we got Dumfries, but he got injured, and Luis Enrique. I think you have to give it again to Chivu overall, the Chivu squad this year. Then you have midfield, Brozovic, and then he decided to convert Hakan as well, but that was the season after. This season, it was all Brozovic. Gosens was peak now. Gosens was injured. He was always, he's coming back off some serious injury at Atalanta, curse as well. He didn't really fit in to the style of play. But yeah, in terms of actual, on paper, better left wing backs. Brozovic, but it was similar to kind of how we don't have a vice Hakan right now. There was no real vice Brozovic back then. It was kind of like sometimes Barella would play there, sometimes even Vecino played there. It was a bit, Brozovic had to play a lot, but peak for peak, Brozovic was probably better than Hakan as a DM. But just because of the fact that we don't really have, a backup for either, kind of it's like same level, I would say, at the moment. But peak for peak, I would take Brozovic over Hakan. Or current Hakan versus that Brozovic, I would take that Brozovic, to be fair. Gume basically kind of like didn't really play, but that was you could say Inzaghi didn't use these kind of young talents back then. A 20-year-old Agume was someone that maybe could have had some play time back then. Now, Barella was definitely a better Barella back then than now. Gagliardini, compared to I think the midfield now is definitely better. We can't. I think we can't compare that midfield because now we've got Zielinski, we've got even this Frattesi is more useful than Sensi because he was always injured. Vecino, definitely, Vecino is kind of like the Frattesi of the situation. Vidal was finished by the time we signed him. So midfield with definitely better now. And then up front, this is where I think the conversation, I think for now we see Kivu's squad is better than that one. But now up front is where you get to the conversation. Lautaro, 24-year-old Lautaro, up and coming still. Pinamonti, we didn't keep him, right? Satriano, we didn't keep him. But yeah, we had a Dzeko, but declining Dzeko, obviously at 36, a declining Sanchez. Yeah, I think in the overall, though, the Kivu squad is better. The Kivu squad, I have to give the edge to the Kivu squad for sure. I'll give the edge to Kivu squad. But conversation worth having. Inzaghi midfielder was way better. I mean, I'm just talking. This is the first season. This is the first season. So yeah, this you can't say this midfield was better, bro. A finished Vidal, declining Vecino, finished Sensi, obviously, Gagliardini. This is not a better midfield for sure. It's just Brozovic and Barella really the two real quality. And Hakan, Mezzala Hakan, you guys know my thoughts on Mezzala Hakan. I never really liked him as a Mezzala. So I would give it the edge. I would give the edge to the current squad for sure. But the second season squad, that's where the conversation has to be had with Inzaghi because he really underperformed the second season. Yes, we went to the Champions League final, but then that season, the second season is like, we brought back Lukaku and stuff like it. We did try to back him in that second season. We signed the chair before him, Onana as well. So, but yeah, anyway, good question. But yeah, I agree. Kivu slightly better squad in my opinion. Yeah, definitely. I think it's the depth that makes a difference. Starting 11 of that Inzaghi team was fantastic, but then the depth is where it got let down. And definitely this Kivu squad now has better depth, especially in striker positions. Anyway, let's get back to the match analysis. As some of you guys are saying, I think, yeah, great performance from Lautaro. Again, he dropped off in the second half like most of the team, but he carried the team with his match-winning goal today. Really nicely taken goal. Good combination with Pio. Good battling today, as always, Lautaro, but he won a lot of balls back today. 4 out of 6 ground duels won. No aerial duels. Fouled once, committed 1 foul, 1 recovery, but I'm sure he made more recoveries than that. 1 tackle, 2 out of 2 successful dribbles, 39 touches, 2 out of 4 shots. Yeah, it was good performance today by Lautaro, especially in that first half, which is the key. As a lot of you mentioned as well, Pio, good performance. Look at that, completed all of his passes. Yes, he looks clunky on the ball. Yes, he's not super technical, but today was a very good game in terms of his link-up play, overall play. How he connected with all his teammates, 25 touches, 4 out of 7 ground duels. His hold-up play today was top quality. Zielinski as well, good game, kept things ticking along, quality player. Not his top level, not one of his best performances this season that I've seen, but he as the vice regista now is doing very well. As I said, Mickey, I thought he started the game off very well, but then dropped off in the second half. And of course, he had his usual shots way off the. If there was a way to show Mickey's shooting since he signed for Inter, this is the perfect shot to show it. Complete scuff all the way to the corner flag almost. And then he had another one that was on target, kind of. And then Barella, as a lot of you have mentioned in the comments, not a great game again. We're definitely seeing a decline in form recently from Barella. 44 or 54 passes completed, but in general, he actually with Barella, what I'll say is he was the opposite of every other interplay. I think he had a poor first half, Barella, where it was like he needs some rest, this guy. And then second half, I feel like he was actually one of the better players in the second half, where he was, even when he made some mistakes, he actually made up for them by winning the ball back. Look at that, 6 recoveries, 3 tackles, got stuck in the second half. So not a quality match from Barella in terms of his actual quality and what we expect of him, but he kind of grew into the game, unlike all the other Inter players who kind of decline as the game went on. Idea to do a tournament between the best Inter squads historically. Yeah, that's probably an interesting video to do. Yeah, I wouldn't have the knowledge to really go back to do the squads from '93 because that's the year I was born in, so I can't really objectively do a proper analysis of those squads. I'd have to get some old heads to get involved in that one. But yeah, interesting ideas. To be honest, I don't think he overachieved when we got. Many of us thought he would last 4 years. He was quick replacement for Conte's abrupt departure. He was supposed to be a stopgap. I don't agree with that, Bob Marley. I think when we signed Inzaghi, I remember, he was the upcoming young Italian coach, so I did see him as a long-term option when we signed him. I didn't really see him as a stopgap option. He was the upcoming young Italian coach at Lazio. He was my second choice. I wanted Allegri, and if we didn't get Allegri, it was Inzaghi. So I don't see it as that at all. It's like Boni is getting weaker. When he first joined, looked like Coron sort of ball more. Now he gets bodied so easily. I think he needs to get back into the swing of the games. Like since he got ill, if you remember, like a few weeks back, then he missed a couple of games. Then he got injured, and now he's coming back from that injury. So he just needs, I think, some time to like get going again. But that Udinese backline is very strong, very physical. But I know what you mean. Pio was very good today. I don't think the Lauti Boni combo works as well. Ball didn't stick up top as much when Pio went off. Yeah, in general, I think is that drop off in the second half, as I mentioned, from Lautaro, from all the players. And yeah, the ball didn't stick. I agree. Let's get back to match analysis. Do show you some screenshots from the game. As we discussing, we started the game off very, very well. Very, very well. Lots of pressure, winning the ball back high with this high Kivu press. Lautaro had a good chance early on, cuts back onto his right foot, tries to curl it, far post past Okoye. Could have done better there, Lautaro, in my opinion. These are the types of finishes I don't see enough from Lautaro. These just, a lot of times I don't see these clean finishes from Lautaro where, he can just easily just curl it into far post. And I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying as a top quality striker, when you look at Lautaro's catalogue of finishes, you don't see very many of these kind of just clean, accurate finishes. A lot of them are like the finish that I'm going to show you, the one goal he scored, where it's like, he just hits it very instinctively off a toe poke or the outside of the boot, through some legs, through some bodies. You don't really see like clean finishes when he has time and space to kind of pick his spot, top corner, like, getting the cobwebs out of the top corner or side netting. A lot of the times you see a lot of like almost I'm not going to call them dirty finishes, but instinctive finishes more than clean ones. But yeah, good start from Inter there, from Lautaro and everyone else to get that ball there. Di Marco had a decent shot off a volley. I think this was floated in from Barella, if I remember correctly. Barella floats it to the far post, or Luis Enrique, and Di Marco hits it first time. It went quite wide, but decent opportunity, or decent. The way Di Marco made it a decent opportunity. And there is the goal, linking up. I think it was it Barella or Bisek that passed it into Pio, and Pio, great hold-up play, back heels it into Lautaro. And I love what Lautaro did there. Fake shot. I don't know why I don't see Lautaro do much of that. I remember when we first signed, first few years of Lautaro, he was, used to do a lot of these like in the box fake shots, try to get half a yard from a defender. You don't really see him doing that too much these days over the last few years. He looks a lot heavier. But yeah, here he gets the ball off Pio, fake shot past Christensen, then he holds off the defender behind him, and then finishes. It was kind of similar to almost the Bayern Munich finish that he had outside of the boot, through Christensen's legs, past Cabecele, past Okoye. Good finish again. I'm just showing the difference of what I was talking about. Not clean in terms of the way it's done aesthetically. It's always like very bull like obviously that's why he's called El Toro. But it's very trademark Lautaro. Like when he scores goals like these, I do love them because it's like this kind of bull in the china shop. Like just get out of my way, like muscles, bodies guys out of the way, and just gets his shot off with power and accuracy here as well. And lovely 1-0. And the way he celebrated as well with Pio, like making sure he gets his shine because that link up and everything, the PI-LAU link up was lovely. No, he's not in that conversation anymore. We do put him in those conversations, but just on, consistency and, level for not just Inter, for Italy as well. He's not in that conversation anymore, unfortunately. Just we know that is his level to be in that conversation, but right now, if people were making, top 5 European leagues 11s, Barella's not even people are not even putting Barella in conversations anymore. If you're watching content created from other leagues, and obviously I'm talking about not Prem tards, people that watch other leagues, objectively, I can't even argue this season for someone in there. If I'm going to argue for someone in that team, maybe Hakan, just because of how much stat padding is done with his goals and assists. But objectively, it's probably Zielinski really that gets into those types of teams if we're going to make a conversation this season on form, not Barella for sure. Oh, it was the Zielinski pass into Pio. Thank you, Ian Kerr, for clearing that up. 100% Lauti shot was rubbish, too weak. Sommer had some decent saves. His kicking was poor, though. I think it was one save he had to make. And yeah, it was decent. That was, I think, the only shot. Yeah, one save. It was on the edge of the box for UDINESE. That was literally the only decent shot they had all game. 0.2 xg, and this one was 0.10 of that 0.22 xg. Yeah, again, not much to do in the Lecce game. He had one save to make, he made it. Today he had the one save to make, he made it. So I guess we have to praise him for the bare minimum because he's there. But if he didn't save that, or if he didn't save the Lecce one, I mean, we're talking real issues. The way things are playing out at the moment, we need to get rid of Thuram at the end of the season. Yeah, we're going to have those conversations towards the end of the season for sure. If Lautaro was a good finisher, he'd probably be just behind Meazza in goals. He misses so much, 100%. It's not his. We know him now. He's been at Inter, 7-8 years. Yeah, he could easily be up there if he was more clinical. But then he's got everything else as well. So, he can't have everything. Then he'd be the best player in the world. If he was a clinical finisher and everything else that he has to his game, then he would just be the best player in the world. Anyway, Zeki, calm down. You just you delve into, once you start going negative, you just start going into all the negative stuff. Like today we won 1-0, we're top of the league. Lautaro carried us with the match-winning goal. Let's stay on the positive side of things today. Yeah, Zielinski's always, this season is, I don't think Zielinski's had one bad game this season. I think he had one bad sub appearance a few matches ago, but apart from that, Zielinski has just been minimum 6.5 every single game this season. But yeah, let me go back to some of the highlights from the game. Oh yeah, Barella. I saw some of you mention it in the chats. Oh yeah, the shot that we conceded came from Barella pissing about in the box, like Ian Kerr said. For a guy of his experience and leadership and wisdom, you don't expect something like so silly from Barella. But yeah, he also has developed this allergy to shooting now. But did he even have a shot? No, he had no shots today. Here, I know in this angle now, it looks like, oh yeah, the pass was the right decision. But if you watched it in real time, and if you watch a lot of football, you see plenty of goals scored in this position because the guy is shooting there. You see plenty of shots that go in between the guy's leg, across the goalkeeper, far post, goal, or at least trying it. This Barella's just and I'm not saying that it was a bad decision there to pass because Pio is making himself available and the pass actually went behind him there. The problem is you watching that, know that that's an easy just pop shot. You're in that position, you found yourself in that, don't even think about it, just boom, shoot. Because we all know Barella, he has a good shot, he can shoot, he is a dangerous shooter. But it just feels like over the last year or so, he just almost doesn't want to shoot. It's almost like It's only if it's the last option possible. Like if he is 1v1 on goal, then he will shoot. Like he's been put in 1v1 on goal. But even then, if there's a guy next to him, which is also obviously very unselfish of him, which is nice, but if there's someone next to him, he will pass it, even if it's a 1v1. He is just only going to shoot if it's like literally the last option possible, or if it's a corner and then the ball is like kind of bouncing down, floating down, then he knows that if he doesn't shoot, this is potentially a counter-attack opportunity for the other team. So he just kind of shoots for the sake of shooting and getting rid of the ball. Otherwise, he's just lost almost the will or the enjoyment. I don't think he like enjoys shooting anymore. There's something, I don't know what it is with Barella. He just doesn't want to shoot, doesn't enjoy shooting. Like I don't really understand. Yeah, it really frustrates me when I see Barella in these positions. Because I saw on Reddit as well. Let me see if I can pull it up. Someone on Reddit posted the stat about Mickey and Barella, and I was shocked to know the stat. Let me see if I can find it. It was a stat about the last time. Yeah, there it is. The last time these two scored. So Mkhitaryan hasn't scored in the last 63 matches he played. Barella scored once in his last 76 matches, and that was the 4th goal against Cremonese this season. And then in the comments, I see a lot of people very highly upvoted. Kind of like, yeah, it's not a big issue. Like, oh yeah, they're better playmakers at box to ball. Not a big issue. It's all right. Yeah, Mickey should shoot less, pass more. It's kind of like almost normalized that it's fine. But in this Inter team, this is the problem that we have with our strikers, but it's also with the midfielders. We create so much. We're a chance creation machine. I think I saw a stat this morning that said we are the 2nd team in terms of chances created in Europe. I think it was Bayern Munich or Barcelona number 1, and we were 2nd. And then for big chances as well, we are like right up there in the top 5 in European. Like whoever you are in this team, defenders, strikers, midfielders, you get a lot of opportunities to go in the opposition box and have shooting opportunities. Like the other day, Rabiot for Milan. That's not his, he's not a goal scoring midfielder, but you need your midfielder sometimes to step up and give you those goals sometimes. And Allegri actually always makes a point of this, that his mezzalas, and that's what Barella is, a mezzala and Mkhitaryan. He says, he talked about when he was at Juve, Rabiot, he says, I want him to become a 6 to 8 goal a season midfielder. He said that about Fofana this season. Obviously, that's not working out because that guy wears Timberlands instead of football boots. And I'm sure he probably, he thinks the same about Rabiot. But like as a mezzala, that's your role. You go box to box, you defend, and you attack. And in a team like Inter, I feel like that should be the minimum expectation is 5 to 6 goals a season from Inter's mezzale. So I don't think it should be just like normalized that, yes, they're good at other things. Like Mickey is definitely very good at the duel winning, the defensive side of things, and the transitional play. Like when he carries the ball, Barella's, really good at lots of other things as well. But it shouldn't be normalized. Oh yeah, it's fine. Like he gets into the box and we're not expecting him to score. Very, very bad execution whenever they get into the box. And yeah, Bobby Marley was screaming to shoot as well. Oh yeah, thank you, Mattia, for reminding the people to like and subscribe. I'm only going on for a few more minutes, guys. So leave your who was man of the match. Let me know who was man of the match. I think the nominations for me in terms of man of the match today are Di Marco, who, by the way, this is the shot from Di Marco that Okoye saved. This was a good attempt from Di Marco from the edge of the box. My nominations for man of the match are Lautaro, Di Marco, and Zielinski. And maybe Kanji or Carlos Augusto at the back. Oh yeah, here's one Mickey shot that he had. He didn't really have an option, to be fair. Look, and this is the thing, like Mickey just tries it. I know Mickey has an awful record of shooting, but here I feel like Barella would have probably just gone backwards or done something completely different. Mickey just thought, I'll just have a go anyway, and had a decent shot at Okoye. And yeah, here's the tackle. Here's the tackle that Carlos Augusto got a yellow card for. Unbelievable that the referee Di Bello somehow, well, it should be called Di Brutto because Bello means beautiful. Brutto is ugly, so his name should be Di Brutto because he got it completely wrong. Like, this is one of the cleanest, best tackles you see all season. On the counter attack, Keenan Davis runs past Bisek. Bisek looked like he was running in quicksand, by the way, in this action. And it started from his back heel. But the fact that he got given a yellow card for this, for a clean tackle, and Udinese got a free kick in this position, that's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And Akanji made a great tackle after this as well, which was cancelled out. That was super annoying. But yeah, ref was on something. That's why I think Bare should be CDM. Yeah, I think that is his role in the future. But similar to Inzaghi, seems to be that Chivu prefers Zielinski in that role. And it looks like finally, though, I have to say now, at least Zielinski looks like he's happy to concede that, because under Inzaghi and at the beginning of the season, he was kind of like, seemed to be unsure of himself in that role. And I used to be as well because of that, because of like his defensive side of things. But it seems like now finally Zielinski's like, okay, I'm the vice Hakan. I can play this role quite well. So finally he seems to be knuckled down, and defensively he seems to be better as well now. But yeah, so Ian Kerr says Dima, Lauti, Pio, Zielinski. Yep, I think those are the pretty obvious. Oh yeah, Pio as well. I gotta say Pio as well. There's gotta be definitely a shout for man of the match. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he did talk about, a few seasons back, if you remember, Barella did talk about that he went through a bit of depression almost, or something serious personally. I think when they lost the baby, him and his wife, the Seconda Stella season, he talked about it after that season, that was the toughest season for him because personally he was going through some stuff. And in my opinion, that was probably his worst season for Inter, the Seconda Stella season. But I don't know. Maybe, yeah. We don't know, Eduardo. Like, we can never know about these personal things. It's hard to tell, but yeah, there's definitely something. Whether it's the overplay, the tiredness, or he's burnt out. I don't know what it is, but something. Yeah, it's clearly not quite right with Barella. But again, I have to reiterate: he's undroppable for Chivu. Clearly, he was undroppable for Inzaghi. He's undroppable for Italy. Even a bad Barella, even a low form Barella, is still very, very good in Serie A. He's still one of the best midfielders in Serie A. I wouldn't put him again, as I said, on form or anything. I don't put him in the top 11, the best 11. Probably not even in the top 10 this season of midfielders. But his base level is still so good that he's undroppable. And again, when top players are out of form, we've seen it over the years, the way to get them back into form seems to be just keep playing them. We had to sub Carlos in the end as the ref was bullying him every week. Yeah, not good. Again, the refereeing in this league this season has been absolutely atrocious. Yeah, I agree. I would like to see Zielinski higher up because he is the only midfielder that seems to be able to shoot apart from Hakan in this team at the moment. So deeper down, he's a little bit more wasted, but yeah. He's also overplayed. His backups aren't good enough. Well, I think, again, that's the thing. I don't think I think his backups are good enough this season. I feel like, when Sucic steps in, I think he's been fine. Fratesi is the one that's let us down this season, but I don't think this season we've got much of an issue in terms of backups. I think, it's just like in terms of like, Akanji, Lautaro, like there's some undroppable, like Chivu has some of the, this is funny about what Zielinski said about his comment. It works for Zielinski because now he's undroppable. So like, oh yeah, Inzaghi didn't used to rotate us enough, but now because he's the star, that's fine. But you can see now who the undroppables are for Chivu. Like you can see Akanji, he's not gonna be dropped unless this guy literally, breaks his leg. It looks like he's undroppable. Zoma, literally, unless he goes through something off the pitch like Pep Martinez did, he's undroppable for Chivu. Barella is undroppable for Chivu. Lautaro is undroppable for Chivu. Di Marco is undroppable for Chivu. So he's got those native players as well that are completely undroppable, regardless of their form, how they're playing. They're just, in terms of, clearly they're doing something technically, tactically for Chivu that he feels like can't be replaced. Yeah. Maybe he does need some competition, but we're talking about, these are top class midfielders as well. Bobby Miley, he might be out of form, but competition for Barella. You're talking about. So if someone that needs going to take the spot from Barella has to be top class, top class. Like let's say for Milan, if say they want competition for Modric, that's a 40 million midfielder they bought in that kid from Yashari. That's their competition for Modric, or Ricci, you could say. You need to get some real quality players if you want to compete with these guys, because they've been undroppable for 5-6 years now. They were undroppable under Conte, a lot of these guys, and they're undroppable under Inzaghi, and now they're undroppable under Chivu. But I am afraid of Kanji's out, and I feel like Sucic should be getting more minutes. I am unhappy at the moment how Sucic is being used. Today, I agree. As I said, I agreed with Mkhitaryan starting today against Udinese because of how physical they are, and I feel like Sucic would not be suited to this game. But against Lecce, I feel like it should be Sucic. Should have been Sucic starting, and Miki didn't have a great game against Lecce, so I feel like that would have been the correct decision. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. As I reiterated at the beginning, make sure you check out Vintage Pitch. They were sponsoring the video today. Lautaro, man of the match. I will give it, just again because of the performance in that first half and the massive goal. I'll give it to Lautaro. But shout out to Pio, shout out to Zielinski, shout out to Di Marco, shout out to Akanji for their performances today. And thank you for tuning in, guys. Thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Ciao ragazzi, always Forza Inter, and I'll talk about the other stuff. I see people asking me about Mlacic and January, but in the next few days we'll talk about the off the pitch news stuff regardless related to that. And Arsenal preview, I'll try to link up maybe with an Arsenal fan if I can try, like I did last season. James from the Arsenal Fan TV, like I did last year. Otherwise, just the usual match preview. Ciao ragazzi, Forza Inter, top of the league. Time to hate watch Milan and Napoli now.